Hey everyone, Jason here at BombBomb. I am so excited for our Bombcast today. With me, I have Justin Korma, social influencer on Instagram, plus a bunch of other awesome things that we're going to be learning about today, as well as Howard Chung, who works over at John L. Scott as a entrepreneur who's always thinking about cutting edge of technology and video. And today our conversation is going to be just about that. But before I go any further, Justin and Howard, would you guys go ahead and just quickly introduce yourselves?
Yeah, you go first, man. Hi, everybody. So I'm Howard Chung. I've been in the real estate business for well over 20 years. I've been with John L. Scott off and on for 17 years. My current role is basically what's called VP of Broker Excellence. In the state of Washington and Oregon, we call ourselves brokers rather than agents. But basically, as VP of Broker Excellence, I'm really trying to help the best practices for every single individual agent. Hey, how to actually make more money and how to actually do sales really well, how to market yourself, how to use technology and all that good stuff. So that's kind of my role. Justin?
My name is Justin Korma. I'm a social influencer, I guess is the title. I'm a fan of the real estate space, been working in it for a bit. And currently, me and my business partner have one of the larger followed influencer brands in the Seattle area, I guess in the state of Washington. And we make just family-friendly, clean comedy content for millennials and Gen Z. And yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome.
When I first met Justin, I didn't really know him, right? He just was kind of a young kid or whatever. And after the meeting, and he's going to introduce himself as a social influencer and some of the video content that he had done, I went home to my 3 kids. I've got 3 boys, and they were 12, 14, and 16. I said, "You guys know this guy, Justin Korma, Lanky Box?" And they're like, "Of course, everybody at school knows them." And then they proceeded to do some of the dab videos and some of these kind of things. I'm like, really? So I started watching some of the stuff, and then I said, "Well, I just met with him today." And my kids were like, "You did not meet with him." I'm like, "No, I met with him," because to them, this was a celebrity that I got to hang out with during the day. And so since then, of course, I've gotten this autograph from my kids, and so that was a big deal. But in any case, yeah, so that's kind of who we have over here, Mr. Famous young guy.
Well, yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about that there. So you guys, Howard, you're always looking to be cutting edge of technology. You're always looking to bring this excellence to your agents. Tell me a little bit about why you guys brought Justin on to help your organization take it to the next level from a video standpoint.
Well, I think everybody in the real estate industry, we know that video is important. We all watch video. We watch video about why video is important. Right? So, that's kind of a no-brainer. But the reality is, when I met Justin, and I was trying to kind of voice it myself and, trying to say how important it is, but I didn't really have, an actual person that I could, kind of latch onto to say, look, here's an actual social influencer who's made it, and here's his strategies. And so he was basically it's kind of like when mom and dad say to do something, and then they're like, yeah. And then somebody else does it, and then all of a sudden, that makes a much bigger impact. And so I started to think, hey, why don't I just try out a couple of case studies with Justin, and it's made all the difference. And so I'll go into that little case study in a bit, but that case study was kind of the initial domino effect of how to actually make video so much more real to the individual real estate agents. And so that's been very powerful by actually taking a specific case study utilizing Justin.
Yeah, and in an earlier conversation, we were talking, Justin, you said that you saw a video from Howard that was 10 years old that was on YouTube, and that's kind of part where this relationship started. Tell me about that.
That's exactly where it came from. I was working in the real estate space, and I was just sitting in a library one day. I remember this so clearly. I was sitting there just doing some research on a quiet afternoon, and I was on YouTube, and I stumbled across this video of him standing, in front of really, really well presented. And he was talking about how agents need to be on video and content creation and social media, all this stuff. And this video was 10 years old. Almost over 10 years old at this point. And I was like, wow, this guy is clearly so far ahead of the curve. We're still trying to train people and evangelize these technology people. With BombBomb and everything today. And this was 10 years ago in this video. So I was like, wow, this guy's clearly very sharp. So I just found a way to contact him. I called him, and I think the same day you were like, just come for a meeting. I was like, all right, well, so I guess that's what I'm doing. So yeah, it was literally. So speaking to the power of video, literally one video led to this whole relationship and interaction. So
Right. So like that, and let's push into this, a little bit, this idea that video has been around for a while, right? Like this conversation is nothing. Don't need to be sold on the idea that video needs to be a part of their business. We've been talking about it for a while, but Howard, tell us why now make this investment for your agents? I mean, we make this assumption that video's been around, it's always, well, what's the next thing? Why now push so heavily into the video side of things within John L. Scott?
Yeah, I mean, so we're in Seattle, and obviously this is the home of Starbucks and Amazon, as well as Redfin and Zillow, right? And so, the more and more, of course, that we are, diving into the conversations with these guys, and if you actually go to Zillow and type in any city, they basically rank all the listings by what? By video. Right? All the homes that have video, they basically rank to the top, and so they get longer time on site. And so it's not like, all these strategies are just obviously out there. And, so as far as our value proposition as a real estate company, we want to basically say, hey, you know what? We know real estate really well. In fact, we know local really well. So literally 2 years ago, we started to think through, we need to start making some investments in video content, because when you actually go and purchase even video content, just from, companies out there that sell that, kind of stock footage, it's not really good. And so we started to, engage in relationships with vendors who could actually go out and film for us. And that was kind of the beginning of just starting off with like, okay, we have some of this, what we call B-roll content, right, of our local community. They look really good. Hey, why don't we start editing these things? And as we started to kind of just put a few of those out there just internally, people loved them. Right. And so it's not like all of a sudden, it's actually been a couple of years in the making, but, it was just like, okay, right now, it's just like, wow, it's time for kind of the major push to go forward. It's not like we need to be convinced anymore. We're going all in. And so,
right.
We listen to the Gary Vaynerchuks out there and everybody else is saying, you really need to double down and triple down on video and Facebook. So all these things just coming together, we said, you know what, we actually have to tactically approach our video strategy on a deeper level. We invested in actually this video studio that we're in right now. There's a class going on outside this room, clock hour class, I think on Tidal. Inside of here, we're actually being that cutting edge. Let's do some great video content. Let's coach as a result of this. And as an organization, we're also growing. So we have video needs, like how do we actually reach 4 states? Right? How do we actually share some of the information? So we want to make sure we have coaching solutions as well as great content. And so now we're actually really excited because we, over the last 2 years, collected this, what we call B-roll of all of our great communities, including drones. So last year, we actually invested in a drone videographer to go out and capture 4K drone. And the Seattle area is gorgeous in the summertime in particular. And so we now have all this amazing footage. And now when we want to cut together a video that's just unique to John L. Scott, we've got the footage. We're ready to go. So we just have the voiceover, the music, and we're just, it's like anything. It's just these tiny little steps. And now all of a sudden that momentum is there. We've kind of figured out at least, the beginning parts. And it's just an exciting time because now agents are starting to figure it out as well. And so that's kind of where we're currently on.
So I want to ask about that, right? I mean, I think a lot of times when we talk about video, we talk a lot about the B-roll and the neighborhood expertise type things and the drone work, and that all has its place. But Justin, one of the things I think that's really unique that you're kind of bringing to the table is this idea of kind of one-to-one communication, right? Like starting with video at its most basic level, because sometimes, we look at it and we think, well, the video is just for the professionals. Tell us a little bit about how you're talking with agents who might be in that mentality of like, where do I get started, and really stepping into using, the simple devices that we have and carry with us every day.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of the world we live in right now is like there's a confluence of all these, factors that make video so accessible to people due to technology, due to not only everyone having smartphones, which is like they're making amazing quality videos and pictures at this point, but also having services to, share them with people. So whether that be, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, or a service like BombBomb. I mean, there's so many ways that people can just go make simple content and just get started, just get more comfortable being on camera, speaking to a camera, and just not making it feel like this huge like cloud of like video and like I have to do this somehow and like not knowing how to even approach it. I think if agents are looking to kind of get into the video space, hiring someone to do a one-off video can be great. It can be a good introduction to have someone kind of guide you through the process of doing your first video and having a script and all that. But really, if you don't have like the time or the money or energy to do that, really just get out your phone and make some type of content, about, whether it be a market update. It's the end of the year, it's a great time to do that. Or, a just listed, just sold open house type of piece of content, just something really, really quick, like a 30-second video, and just putting it on the internet, right? There's so little downside. There's actually no downside to doing that, and so much potential upside just getting started and just feeling comfortable making this stuff. So that's really the whole message to most brokers, like just get started. Because I mean, these things that we have in our pockets are just so powerful, especially combined with online streaming and sharing services. There's just no reason to not be doing it.
Right. So I think a lot of times, get out, content piece, that makes sense, right? You got content for days, right? Especially as an agent, when you think about all the properties that you're working with, the market, all the information and knowledge that you have. But a lot of times where I see agents get hung up is they do something, but then they feel like it doesn't work, or they're not sure exactly what they should be measuring. So, for both Howard and Justin, how do you guys measure whether or not the videos you're putting out into the world are actually being successful? What are the key metrics that you're looking for?
Want to go first?
Yeah, no, you can take that one first.
So I think sometimes we think too much, right? We think too much about metrics and analytics and how many people are viewing all these kind of things. And one of the things that we actually learned early on, as we've been training all summer long, right? Going out to individual offices, some offices with 20 people, some offices with 100, and so we're continuing on this conversation. And one of the things that people are trying to I want to be like a Justin, right? I guess I need to have like 1 million views in 24 hours like this guy is getting right now. But I said, listen, all you need to do is have a view of one. And so even in the elevator coming up to this building, today, I was talking to a guy. He's like, hey, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm doing a little bombcast here with BombBomb. And he goes, yeah, I've been meaning to make that video. I said, did you download the app yet, the BombBomb app? He goes, yeah, I downloaded it. I said, did you make the video yet? And he goes, no, and he literally said, I need like a psychology class. And I said, listen, all you need to do is send one video. In fact, send it to me. Just say, hey, great seeing you in the elevator today. I said, just make that one video with one play, one response. And, if you smile, you kind of make my day. And so, that's really kind of the message is how do we make somebody's day? If I can make the day for one individual, then that's actually something, right, that we try to talk all the time. It's not just a video strategy, it's an engagement strategy. And so in the class, it's actually a clock hour class that we're doing. And so the title of the class is called Video Engagement Strategy. And the very, first thing I say in the class is, hey guys, this class is called Video Engagement Strategy. What's the key word? A bunch of people say strategy, a bunch of people will say video. I said, no, it's engagement, right? Yeah. How do you engage with somebody? And if you can actually use video with a smile and engage with somebody, you just kind of made somebody's day. And then they start to kind of get it. And then we start to give the live examples as well as the case studies where, hey, this individual, he just made their day because you just smiled at them and just said, I was just thinking about you. If you sent that in an email format, it wouldn't be as effective. And so it's just like a philosophical shift that we're trying to make there so that they're not, thinking, oh, I got to get this professional video made, although we're also encouraging that. But really on a one-on-one basis, how do you do that, well every single day? Right.
Yeah. Justin, for you, I mean, tell me about engagement. Like, what's important to you? You got followers, you got people that are watching your content. How do you take it to that next level and start to engage with the people that are liking, following, and sharing your content?
Right. So to answer the first part of that question, which is just how should agents going to measure their success, because that ties into this. I think the two key metrics that people should be tracking, and this is kind of getting into the weeds a little bit, but maybe they want some nuts and bolts content. The two main metrics that you need to look at are, first of all, do not fixate on views and like viewership, just like that number. That's not important. Like I always joke when we go around to the clock hour, like if you get like 100,000 views on a real estate video, like advertising an open house, that's not really going to help you because like you're not going to like that's not going to convert, and also like you can't fit 100,000 people into an open house. Like it's really not in any way. I mean, really the two numbers you should be looking at. The easiest one is engagement, like a ratio of engagements. Like if you get 10 views on a video and you get 10 comments, whether it be on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, people asking you questions, even just people saying, awesome, thanks for the information, whatever it is, that is an incredible ratio. I mean, I would take 10 views and 10 comments over 500 views and one comment any day. Because really what that video is doing is it's creating a window, it's creating a conversation. So like touch base with your power base, with your community, your hyperlocal sort of power base. And really, it's a really good indicator. If you're making video content and it's getting some views, but you're not getting any comments on it or engagement, that means you're not offering enough value. You're not, it just could be that you're not entertaining enough. You know, you might be coming across really cold, not warm enough. That engagement number is really, really important. And the other thing that's a little bit trickier to look at, although, you know, if you look at the back end, you can figure it out pretty easily. On Facebook and YouTube and these other platforms, you can see the actual watch time of how far people made it into your video. Facebook tells you how many people watch, you know, 50% of the video, and how many people made it to 75%, how many people made it all the way through. And YouTube has like a graph that literally shows you where people click off your video, which can be disheartening to look at, certainly. But that's an important thing as well, right? Again, it's along the lines of engagement, where if people are just clicking and like clicking off after a couple seconds, maybe you need to be more warm, more engaging, offer more value up front. Those are really the two key elements to look at. I mean, if you get 10 views on a video and you're getting a bunch of comments and all 10 views are all the way through, that is a huge success. Okay, you need to, that's way better. You should focus on getting that as opposed to like 50,000 views where like nobody's commenting and everyone clicks off after like 3 seconds, because that's not useful at all.
Right.
Is that, you know, I asked Justin because, you know, we had, you know, created this really nice professional video about Seattle area, right? And so it's kind of this hyperlocal community video all about it, and it's this great piece. And I said, hey, I want to just, you know, try running an ad, right, on Facebook, you know, just for $100, just to see, you know, because it's a nice new video. And so, you know, in my brain, I'm kind of thinking like, hey, how to, you know, write this nice little piece in terms of like, you know, how do I make this ad look really good? Justin completely converted and said, no, don't do that. Ask an engaging question. You know, like, hey, this is some of the best spots in Seattle. What's your favorite spot? So something like that. And just with that little subtle engagement question, right, as far as like how it was posted as an ad, I'm thinking like, for $100, how far is this thing going to go? But what happened because of the engagement, it went like mini viral, right? So we had like over 30,000 views of this video because of all the engagement. And then, of course, that then spreads it organically. And so that was a really impressive and learning thing for me. It's just like, oh, you know, we're not just trying to like yell really loud. We're just trying to engage with people, our communities that are out there, especially at that local level. And so, you know, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's a community, you know, who live in an entire city, it's really about engagement. How do we engage with them, right? What are the strategies used to engage?
So something there, you guys have both said this a couple of times, and I think it's really fascinating, is this idea of being hyper local, right? That an agent is really only focused on their neighborhoods or their city. They're not trying to reach out to the entire state or the, you know, all of the states. It's about working in the place that you're in. So when you begin to think about video strategies and how you really push into being hyper local and looking at, hey, I got the right 10 views because it's the people in the neighborhood that I was targeting, not a bunch of people that live in Texas who are never going to care about this property. What do you do to really target in on that? How do you create engagement at a hyper local level? What are some of the tactics and strategies you guys have seen work well?
Talk about Adam.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, you know, basically part of the case study is when I first met with Justin, I'm like, how do I use this guy? Right? How do I get started? That was kind of the question. And so at the particular time, I didn't want to take like, honestly, a very successful agent, because if I do a great video with a really successful agent, then it's kind of like, well, I can't tell if the video was really helping because that agent's successful anyway. So I actually think an agent was brand new, basically, you know, was still working part-time as a ER nurse, and had just come into the business, didn't have any transactions yet, no listings, and we said, hey, we're going to make you look like the hyper-local pro, like you're the expert of this little neighborhood. And so Justin and I met with him, and we basically went around for about an hour using his iPhone, and we just took a few shots of him in front of the neighborhood, and Justin literally just used his iPhone and said, okay. And, you know, I was also questioning some of his tactics, honestly, Justin. He was like, oh, you're a runner. Bring your running gear. Like, I'm like, what the heck? And so he's like changing in my car, you know, putting on his running gear. And so we created this little video, and then he edited the whole thing on his iPhone. We were in the car, did the entire voiceover using iMovie, I think, which is like the native app, you know, on his phone. And then we basically posted that, as well as we did an ad on it, and basically coaching him through a few of these video steps. The guy, from beginning of starting to coach him, and then 90 days later, he had actually closed closed transactions as a result of the coaching and the video strategies and everything that we're doing, had closed 150,000 GCI, right, for gross income. And now he's well over 200,000 in a 6-month period of time. And he's just like, wow, as a brand new agent, and this, I mean, he already looks more like the neighborhood expert, to the point where now, of course, on Just Listed, Just Sold, he's doing the video himself, right, using the little simple app. He just got an iPhone.
Oh, really? You got him to get it?
Yeah, hey. Just because it's a little bit easier in terms of some of the editing things, right?
Yeah.
Nice. So, and then now he's using BombBomb, of course, as well. And so he's doing that video engagement. Now it's all of a sudden the experienced agents in his office are looking at this brand new agent going, holy smokes, he's made more money in 6 months than I did all last year. And it's simple little strategies. And so we're really finding that hyperlocal, becoming known as the hyperlocal expert of this little neighborhood of 120 homes, not 10,000 homes, 120 homes. But often what happened was that, and actually it didn't even start with 120, it started off with 30 homes, leading up to 120 and just increasing there. And he just looks like this neighborhood expert who's been doing it in the business for like years. Yeah. Even though he's 6 months in the business.
Yeah, that's huge. And we see it, we talk to agents and other people in video all the time. And one of the things that we're hearing as well, to be that hyperlocal person, to go into the businesses that are in those neighborhoods and interview the business owners, go into the coffee shop and have a conversation with the barista, or the school and interview the principal. But I think where I see a lot, the difference between those tactics working and those that kind of fall flat is around the engagement piece. Because sometimes people just create content to put it out into the world, but there's nothing engaging about it. There's nothing that's actually draws the conversation or draws in the comments. So when you begin to think about that conversation and starting that conversation, what are 2 or 3 questions, and I'm putting you guys on the spot, but what are some of those like engaging questions that you try to work in so that the conversation gets started?
The nuts and bolts, I mean, really applicable to anyone right now. The best thing you can possibly do is ask for an opinion, okay? Because everybody has an opinion and they will gladly offer it to you all the time, okay? Even if you don't want it. So, that's a brilliant strategy, that idea of going around, doing like a restaurant review or interviewing like the principal of an elementary school. Amazing. When you do that, you should insert a little piece where it's like, hey guys, I just reviewed this restaurant. What is your favorite dish at this place? Or where should I go review next week? Like, create a feedback loop where it's like, okay, you're making a piece of content, but there's also a call to action like, what should I do next time? What did I miss? What do you think? And then use the comments to fuel the next piece of content. So then you make the next video, the next week, the next month, and you're like, hey, I did this off a suggestion from this person's comment. So then you're literally engaging like so one-on-one with people, even at scale. It's like, and then you also just have infinite ideas for content, because it's like you're just getting suggestions from people on what to do next. So that's like a really like easy way that people can start doing that.
And I think I love that idea. That's brilliant. One of the things that we talk a lot about kind of as one of the elements of being successful in video, email, any of your marketing is consistency, right? You can't just do it once and be done with it. And where I find a lot of people that get started is they do one video and then they don't quite get the engagement that they're looking for, so they stop and they think, well, this just doesn't work. When you think about a consistency standpoint, have either of you experienced a bit of a threshold where it's like you got to, in your mind, say you're going to be doing 3 to 4 videos before you start even seeing some of these interactions start to happen? Like, what are the right expectations for people who are just getting started when they think about this kind of from a consistency standpoint?
That's a great question. I think if people can aim to have like one video out at the bare minimum, like one a month. I mean, I think ideally like one a week is a pretty manageable schedule for most people to do. Unless you're doing one-on-one stuff like with BombBomb, then you can do it like every single day. But really look, Howard talks a lot about lead indicators versus lag indicators. So I'm reading a book called The Slight Edge. I think it's by Jeff Olson, right? And there's also The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, which Howard recommended to me. A lot of these books, and I agree with it totally, like you have to view it as like, so in the Slight Edge, they give the example of like, okay, if you're at lunch and you drink like a glass of water or a glass of like soda, drinking a glass of water is not going to make you magically healthy, and drinking the one glass of soda is not going to make you magically unhealthy. Just like doing one video does not make you like a brand expert, and it doesn't make you a hyperlocal expert. And if you don't do a video, it doesn't mean that you're bad at your job. I mean, you can do either one. It's fairly easy. But if you make a commitment, like if you just drink only water for a whole year, or you drink only soda for an entire year, there's going to be a huge difference when you look back on it. You're like, whoa, in a year from now, where am I? So if you make a video, it's kind of like eating a salad once or like drinking water once. Like you're doing the right thing, but you're not going to see a result overnight, most likely. But if you do it over the long term, it's certain that you're going to see a compounded effect over time. And there is a short-term benefit. I mean, you might have like the effect that Howard had with his video where like someone sees it and like does business with you. I mean, there is a non-zero chance of that really happening. So there's a short-term probability of that happening, but also it's a long-term play. Like if you make a video and put it out there, once a day or once a week, you should congratulate yourself and don't even worry about like, am I getting an ROI? I mean, try to improve it, try to get more engagement, try to get more traffic, but don't be like, I'm not seeing an ROI on my first 4 videos, so I quit. I mean, that's like, I drank a bunch of water and I didn't lose some weight. What's going on? I mean, anyone would be like, that doesn't make sense, right?
That Justin actually kind of came up with, which is brilliant, genius. It's basically kind of like the whole martial arts thing, basically a white belt to black belt progression. And one of the things that actually we've done, and I think in the real estate space, especially when we go to conferences, we always show the black belt, like the most amazing video, right? And we've all seen like those ridiculous, crazy home videos with the actors and, like waking up in the morning and all that good stuff, right? And so we're like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. That costs $20,000 to produce. And so that's well beyond black belt or second degree black belt kind of stuff. Yeah. You go all the way to white belt. White belt is basically, hey, just do a one-take wonder, right? In terms of like your smartphone and be like, hey, tell us a little bit about this property. And so, some of the simple things that we say is, hey, if I'm actually asking you, like as if I was a buyer in your neighborhood, hey, I'm not able to come out there. Would you just take a little bit of film, like a little quick video with your iPhone and just tell me about the community a little bit and a particular house, maybe a particular street, and just send it to me? If any consumer asked that of their real estate agent, they'd probably be like, sure, oh yeah, no problem. And that's basically what we need to commit to on a regular basis. And then the one that's easier than that is kind of like before even white belt is like, oh my gosh, just do a single BombBomb, right? Where it's like, oh, just say one little thing. Like do one little play like, hey, how are you? Just want to say hi. Happy Halloween, for example, or happy Thanksgiving. And so right now, what I'm trying to encourage everybody to do is after every single open house, the people who sign into the open house, hopefully, which is everybody, do a BombBomb video response. I know that's one of the main BombBomb things. So I'm actually giving them the very specific script. And a lot of times when they don't even know exactly what to say, they get stuck. So I say, always say the following. Hey, Jason, this is Howard Chung. I met you at the open house. Really great to see you today. I was just wondering, would it be okay to let you know what this house sells for when it closes? That'd be okay. I'd love to do that. Hey, have a great rest of the week. If you have any questions, let me know. And that's it. And most people are actually very curious about that open house. What it actually did sell for, because people are really curious in their neighborhoods what the home are selling for, and you might get an engagement, you might get a response, and they just reply back by email, right? And so that's little tiny tactics that we use to help the agent understand the sales component and how video can actually work really well.
Well, and Howard, whether you realize it or not, you just said 5 of the most magical words for engagement. Would it be okay, right? That question will drive people to give you an answer because they're going to tell you no, but they're most likely going to respond with a yes. And the moment you have a yes, now you've earned the right to step into that conversation and lead it to where it needs to be. So for everyone that's watching, if you're like, how do I do engagement? Where do I start? Those are your 5 words. Work that into your script, whatever it is. Would it be okay? That's going to lead people into actually having a conversation with you and driving kind of the results that you're looking for. The thing I find, we talk a lot of the same things when we're training people, and a lot of people on the Bombcast know this. And when you first get started, you're doing the one-to-one thank yous and happy birthdays and just the easy things. But the thing, I think the main takeaway from today is that if you don't have an engagement element to that, you're still not going to get the response that you want. So even if you do a thank you or you do a happy birthday or whatever the video is, think about that engagement piece. Where are you leading people to actually have the conversation versus just throwing something out into the world and not getting any feedback that it's actually working on that side of things?
Yeah, and in the real estate space, we're always trying to recruit, right? And that's one of the biggest things that we're always trying to do. And so I help, sometimes our managers and owners recruit agents. And so, I got this one request, hey, this is a really techy Microsoft person just gone to the real estate business. Would you give them a call? So of course, I called them up. Hey, I'd love to, talk to you more about strategies, about video, and, just in terms of technology in general. I said, yeah, that'd be great to meet. And so then as soon as I got off the phone, I made a 9-second BombBomb video. I just said, hey man, I just want to introduce myself. This is what I look like. Looking forward to seeing you on Friday. And the last 2 people that I used this strategy with, I've gotten them to commit, because it's just like, wow, you guys do things differently. You guys are actually practicing what you're preaching. And so, this is just kind of, what's going on in the day and age. So it's actually at every level, whether you're a real estate agent, making a connection with a consumer, or whether you're a manager trying to recruit an agent, or even the communication with coaching their existing agents. So, I mean, man, the video thing is just so powerful, right? And sometimes it's way better to do a video than write a long email. Right? Infinitely better. Yeah.
Right. Right. Well, maybe we should practice what we're preaching here and actually engage with our audience, everybody that's watching here. Allie's been manning the chat. She's been bringing questions in. Allie, is there anything from the audience now that we could go ahead and throw to Justin and Howard?
Yes. So Jim Scott just said, okay, I've got an iPhone, a Facebook account, some running shoes, and an open house. I get all this. I still scratch my head in how BombBomb comes into play and what it will do for my business.
Yeah, good question. So the BombBomb piece, right? Thinking about how all that works. BombBomb is just one of the many ways that you can be sharing video. We help you get it out there through email, but a lot of these strategies we've been talking about today, you want to have video. There are multiple tools that you're using video. So the one-to-one side of things, you probably don't want to direct someone to a Facebook page to watch a personal video from you because that feels super impersonal. But the type of video that we've been talking about with like an open house or these other things, you want that to be public, but you want it to be hyper-focused on that side of things as well. So yeah, great question. And it's all about tactics, right? There's these different ways that you're going to use video in your business and really make it to come to life that way.
Got one more from Jonathan. What about those agents or brokerages that are thinking, yeah, but this silly entertaining video stuff doesn't apply to me or my clients? Would you agree or disagree? Does simple entertaining video content provide real value? How might you coach people to think about the real results they are driving for when they create video content?
Did you hear that, Howard?
Could you repeat it, please?
So can you come over a little bit closer, Allie?
Sure.
So we'll get Allie closer to the mic here so you guys can hear. This is a great question for you guys.
Okay.
Cool.
What about those agents and brokerages that are thinking, yes, but this is silly, entertaining video stuff, doesn't apply to me or my clients? Would you agree or disagree? Does simple, entertaining video content provide real value? How might you coach people to think about the real results they are driving for when they create video content?
I mean, I personally certainly don't think that just like, okay, if you're making video content that's like purely entertainment, that's probably not the best way to go. I mean, I think the term that gets thrown around a lot that I agree with is like edutainment. I mean, you need to offer value and provide like, if you're doing like a market update or whatever, you can do that, but you need to find a way to do that in a somewhat entertaining, engaging way. Because if people are just looking for like information, like if they're looking for like the definition of like a mortgage or like what the market update is, they could look that information up and read it on Wikipedia. I mean, if they really wanted to know that. If they wanted to be entertained, they could go watch like, a comedy special. I mean, they're looking for something. You're going to provide them an intersection of those two things. You're giving them the information, the value, but you're doing it in an entertaining and engaging way. So certainly, I mean, if you're making stuff that's like purely just comedy, don't do that. But also, if you're making stuff that's really dry and just like super professional and like, here's the definition of all these things, like that's not going to work. I mean, you have to think about the psychology of where people are consuming this stuff, right? If you're putting it in your inbox or you're putting it on Facebook, those are very social, personal places, right? This is not like, they're not going to a class, so you need to engage with them in a fun way, definitely. But, don't just be joking around.
Yeah, and we want to make it clear also that, even though Justin's stuff personally is very goofy and fun,
yes.
What on the real estate side, that is not what we're saying we should do at all. In fact, no, don't do that. Please don't do that. It's really about professionalism. I think you kind of teach with 2 A's, which is authenticity and authority. So if I basically say, I'm here, John with John Scott Real Estate, one of the things I love about my neighborhood right here in Harbor Point, Mukilteo. And so I'm speaking with authority because I live here. I live in the community. I've been selling real estate, for example. And so, if I can actually throw in a couple of, nuances that's interesting, entertaining, whatnot, that's really great. But I'm not trying to be a clown or a goofball in any way.
That's for people like me. Don't do that, guys. No.
Right.
Yeah, and comedy is hard. That is really difficult. So I'm not sure if we exactly answer that question, but yeah, there's I think a time and place for.
You gotta find a balance.
Yeah.
You gotta find a balance.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys spoke to this to the real heart of it is what's the value of this, right? Whenever you go to create a video or you create a piece of content, what value am I bringing to my consumers, to the people that are going to be watching this? And there's a blend. Sometimes a little bit of fun and education can be valuable, but a lot of times you want to make sure that you're communicating the right piece of information in a way that's going to be consumable that drives the interaction. So to me, those are the things that are going to really bring it to life. Because if it's dry and doesn't make any sense, it could be the best value in the world, but it's unconsumable. So the people aren't going to pay attention to you, and they're going to drop off watching your video after the first 30 seconds. Because how you perform on camera or whatever that might be. What else, Allie? What else are we hearing on Facebook?
One.
Yeah, last question.
Barbara Jackson. She wants to know if client video testimonials are helpful.
Yeah, how do you guys handle client video testimonials?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, as far as in our space, honestly, I think we've seen a lot of client video testimonials over that are 5, 8 years old, and kind of and they're not bad, but then a lot of times well, what's the purpose of that? The distribution. So one of the things I always want to make sure that our agents understand is just because you have it doesn't mean that somebody's going to see it, right? And so if you actually do have a sometimes I actually go, those testimonials about you are great. But if you can actually get a client, like a person who just bought a house, right? Hey, this is Justin, he just moved into the neighborhood, everybody, just want to introduce them, and they're willing to do that. Hey, tell us why you decided to move into the neighborhood. You can do things of that nature where it's not just about my services, where it's all about me. It's just about you. It's about you as a client, maybe, a buyer who just moved into the neighborhood. So as agents, we often think, what about me? It's about me. It's all about me. I want everybody to love me, want me, all that kind of stuff. But no, let's not think about me. Let's think about you. Let's think about the community. Let's think about how I can actually be a contribution. And so, at John Scott, one of the our core values is living life as a contribution. And so one of the things that we actually think through is just hey, can we actually use video and content to be a contribution to the community? And so one of the simple things that I love to do is I love to go to YouTube. I love to type in the local neighborhood, right? And see what kind of stuff comes up. And I show this to the real estate agents. I say, what's your favorite neighborhood? Or if you were known as the neighborhood expert and you just love this area and you can talk to me all day long about why you love this particular street and the homes here and the builder and the particular school district and all that, what are those neighborhoods? And they tell me. Then I go to YouTube and I show them, hey, let's just search about that. There's nothing good there. And I say, would you make a video about what you just told me exactly, but just put on video and put it on YouTube, and within 6 months, I bet you anything, you'll have at least 100 plays. And those 100 are people who are curious about that particular community. Might be a homeowner who already lives there, somebody who's thinking about moving into the area. And so it's just translating, hey, how can we be a community, a contribution community at John Scott as agents to the people that we're serving, right? And so that's where video really comes in. Kind of a higher level philosophy. It's not just, hey, I want the next, ROI in terms of, just video strategy. We can't think that way. It's just no, I love this neighborhood. I just want to let other people who are curious about this neighborhood know that information. They want to use me, cool. Now they, have recognized my voice and my face and some of those things. So that's really kind of the space that we're trying to be in. It's kind of this nice organic, tell that message type of thing. And we just think that is just so important.
And honestly, I can't think of a better way to wrap up our time together and talking about that's the reason to be doing video. And being able to build those relationships, being able to connect with people in a way that isn't just about you, but it's about the value that you're bringing to your audience and the people that are engaging with you. So thank you guys so much for your time today. Thank you for everybody that's been live with us on Facebook and YouTube and on Instagram.